DND number 14, Such a Time as This. In Jesus' name. Chapter 2. It is January 8th, Wednesday evening. We're at the Hopewood Chapel Youth Night, Huntington Beach, California. Taylor stood off to the side of the community room. She was watching some strange phenomena. She first noticed Daniel Davis walking around trying to shake people's hands. He was smiling and nodding his head as people were wishing him a happy birthday. He was chatting with them and then turning and getting someone else's attention and then introducing that someone else to the first person he was talking to. She turned to find Jeremy Davis. He, too, was chatting away merrily with a couple of girls who were in the older group. Glancing around, she saw Lyle Keith doing the same, and many other young ones doing the same. They would chat for a minute, ask a question or two, and then move on. Taylor smiled. She recognized what was happening. They were working the room. She recognized it because usually she was the one doing it. Her cousins, JoJo and Logan, were also working the room, and Pastor Barnes was doing the same. Raylynn, JoJo's new girlfriend, was videoing and walking around, getting people to say hello to her camera. Ryder, who for now was like a foster brother to JoJo and Logan, was also videoing the interactions happening around the room. Taylor nodded in approval. She was pretty sure that JoJo had directed what was happening. Taylor shifted her attention to Kaylee, who was Raylynn's younger sister. She was almost completely healed, and now that the bruises were gone and there was no more swelling, it was easy to see that the 18-year-old Native American college student was a knockout. She was holding court in a circle of 5 guys and smiling and laughing at their jokes. Taylor knew that she used to be promiscuous and that what happened to her, beat almost to death by her boyfriend, had been a catalyst for her to change. And Taylor's grandfather and Aunt Jeffy also had a lot to do with that. Taylor's eyes shifted to Mika, who was standing with 3 of her girlfriends as they ate a small plate of goodies. Mika smiled and nodded at whatever they were saying and then turned when Lyle Keith approached her. He smiled and introduced himself. Taylor was interested in what he was saying, and she moved closer so she could hear. "Yeah, I'm a freshman. I'm Philip's younger brother. I think he's your age. I've just been meaning to tell you that when you sang in church a few weeks ago that you blew me away. You are so good." Mika giggled. "Oh, thanks. What was your name again?" "I'm Lyle." He turned and smiled at the other girls and held out his hand. "What's your names?" They each said their name and went ahead and almost reluctantly shook his hand, but he didn't seem deterred. He smiled. "It's nice to meet all of you. You're all juniors, right?" They all nodded. "Well, come out to the football games next year, 'cause hopefully I'm going to be the quarterback, and I'll need someone to cheer for me." Taylor giggled and moved forward. "Hey, Lyle, how's it going?" The girls all turned to smile at Taylor, and Taylor nodded at them. "I see you've met one of my good friends. Lyle and his brother Philip, they escorted me to the Christmas dance at my school a few weeks ago. They're the best. And Lyle here can really dance." The girls all turned and looked at Lyle with fresh eyes and nodded at him. And he might be only a freshman, but he was pretty cute with his light brown hair and his boyish smile. Lyle grinned at Taylor. "Thanks, Taylor. Taking you to a dance, it was the highlight of the whole month." "Well, once they get the gym built, we're going to have a lot more dances, so you'll have to save a few dances for me." "I think I can do that," he said with a laugh. "Hey, I see a cute girl over there I've been wanting to meet. I'm going to go talk to her. Wish me luck," he said, directing his words to the group of girls. They all laughed and told him to go get her, and he left the group. Taylor watched him go. She was thinking that her cousin JoJo was an amazing youth minister. The girls all started asking her questions then, and they got around, as always, to asking about Gabe. She chatted for a few minutes until the group started to diminish as, one by one, kids left the gathering. Bristol and Melody and Jordan started cleaning up the refreshments and wiping down countertops of the kitchen bar area that separated the community room from the kitchen. Mika smiled at Taylor. "I guess I need to get home. My mom should be home by now." Taylor nodded. "Well, there's so much cake left over. Why don't you take a piece for her? She didn't give her a chance to turn it down." I'll get it. Just a minute." Taylor hurried away and came back a minute later with a plate holding a huge piece of cake covered with some plastic wrap. "Oh, Wow. Thanks, Taylor. Hold on, I'm going to walk you home, Taylor ordered. Mika frowned. Why? I told you. We will find a way to keep you safe. I'm not letting you walk home alone. I'm going to make sure you get all the way into your apartment and all locked up safe and sound. Mika frowned. You don't have to do that. I'll probably be okay. Probably? Do you think Teo will be out there somewhere waiting on you to come back? Mika shrugged. Maybe. I mean, sometimes I don't see him for days, and then sometimes he's always hanging around. Well, I'm not taking any chances, Taylor said. I'm going to make sure you're safe. He doesn't have a right to do what he wants with you. Let me ask you something. So, in the mornings, does he bug you then? She shrugged. Well, usually I see him at the bus stop and we sit together on the bus. Does he mess with you on the bus? He puts his arm around me. That's about all. Well, what if you don't ride the bus anymore? Well, how am I supposed to get to school? Taylor sighed. I'm going to send a car for you tomorrow, and then I'll talk to my dad and find out how we're going to protect you. You can't do this forever. Well, we may not have to. He might eventually give up. We might figure out that it's really over and move. He might figure out that it's really over and move on. Mika nodded. Yeah, he might. I mean, before me, he had lots of other girlfriends. He moved on from them well enough, though that was his decision, not theirs. Taylor smiled. Well, if you're ready to go, let me grab my brother. She turned to find Eric. Outside the church, Eric, Taylor, and Mika met up with an Ameritech agent, and Eric shook his hand. Agent? The man nodded. Yes, I'm Agent Thomas. Nice to meet you, Eric. You too. This is my sister Taylor and her friend Mika, and it's Mika we're concerned about right now. Just want to get her home safely. And the circumstances? Eric looked to Taylor for the explanation. She sighed. Oh, well, I mean, I don't want to embarrass Mika. Well, the more I know about the circumstances, the better I can protect her. You don't have to go into detail, just the basics. Taylor nodded. Yes, sir. So, well, Mika's boyfriend has already raped her and she broke up with him. And earlier this evening, I heard him tell her that it's not over and she's afraid that he might rape her again. And he's a punk and he sells drugs at school and he has friends that will help him. And some of those friends threatened me today. And one of those friends threatened me today. He did? Mika asked, surprised. Taylor nodded. Yes. Anthony told me I better mind my own business and that I should be afraid of him. Oh, Taylor, I'm sorry he did that. He's such a loser. Well, we have his information, Agent Thomas said. We'll be keeping an eye on the young man. For now, let's get you home. We're just going to walk you home, and we'll see what kind of attention you attract. Mika nodded. I doubt Teo will approach me if I'm walking with someone. The agent grabbed a black bag and slung it over his shoulder. What about Jordan? Taylor asked. She's going to stay at the church with the bros until I get back, young Eric said. The four turned around and headed toward the drive that led down to the apartments. The walk was dark. There was only one street light up on the main road, and the next light was all the way down by the first apartment building. Meeks, they heard someone call as they were about 20 feet from that first building. Oh, Lord, Mika muttered. She looked over toward the low wall where Teo liked to sit so he could watch people as they come and go out of the apartments. She stopped and saw him hop down off the wall and brazenly head toward her. Teo, she said sternly, I don't want to talk to you. I'm going home. It's late and I'm tired. He came forward out of the shadows. His eyes narrowed as he looked over her companions, and he smiled. Taylor, looking good. She rolled her eyes. Teo ignored both young Eric and the agent and reached out to try to grab Mika's hand, and she pulled away. The agent stepped forward to block him, and Teo looked up at him as if seeing him for the first time. Who are you? He smiled. I'm just a friend of Mika's. She said she's tired and doesn't want to talk to you, so back off. Well, I don't know who... Just stop, Teo. We broke up. It's over. You're not going to just diss me like this. Why? You don't really care about me, and I'm changing directions. Let's call it done. He started to reach for her again, but Agent Thomas reached out and caught his arm and held it fast. It was only then that Teo actually looked down at the emblem on his breast pocket. You some kind of cop or something? Or something, Agent Thomas said. Now back off. Teo pulled his arm away and stepped back. He glanced at Taylor and Eric and then looked back at Mika. You get all carried away just because they let you sing. You messing up, Meeks. Big time. It's not over, he said again as he backed further away. It is over, she yelled at him. It's over. It's over, Teo. So just stop. Just stop. All right, now settle down, Agent Thomas said softly. Come on, he said as he led her away. They headed to B4. B building, instead of beside Building A, was behind Building A, separated by a large backyard and both buildings' back doors opened up onto. So they had to walk around to the front of Building B. There was a brass number 4 on the front door, and Mika unlocked the door and stepped in. May I meet your mother? Agent Thomas asked. Oh, well, I don't know. Mika. Who is it? Mika's mother came to the door. Mika's facial expression was one of horror or dread. Oh, Mom, it's just some friends who walked me home. Her mother smiled. Hello, I'm Tori Burton, she said. I'm Mika's mother. Hello, Mrs. Burton, I'm Taylor Keno, Taylor said quickly as she smiled at the very pretty woman. Oh, my goodness, yes, it's so nice to meet you. I saw you at church. Taylor smiled kindly. It's nice to meet you too, Mrs. Burton, and this is my brother, Eric Keno. Young Eric stepped forward and offered his hand, which she shook. Oh, wow, it's really you, he smiled kindly. And I'm Agent Thomas, Mrs. Burton, the agent said quickly. Tori smiled at the handsome man. Agent? Yes, ma'am, I work for Miratech Security. I'm sorry to be pushy, but could we come in a moment? I have something to discuss with you, but it won't take long. Taylor didn't know the agent intended to do this, and she looked at Mika's face and knew that she was terrified of what the agent would disclose. She glanced up at her brother, who had a look of resignation on his face. Oh, yes, of course, I didn't mean to be rude. Please come in. They all went in, and the door was closed. The apartment was clean and neat. Please have a seat. Can I get you anything? No, ma'am, Taylor said. We just pigged out on birthday cake. As a matter of fact, Mika brought you a piece. Mika held up the plate and went to put it on the table. Mrs. Burton, I won't keep you long, the agent said. We walked your daughter home because we were worried about her safety. She might not have told you yet, but she recently broke up with her boyfriend, and... You did? Tori asked her daughter. Excuse me. Mika sighed and nodded. Yes, Mom. I found out some things about him, and he's not a good guy. And I want to change my life, and he's not part of that change. Her mother smiled. Okay, well, that's good, right? Yes, ma'am, your daughter's being very strong, Agent Thomas went on, but her now ex-boyfriend has made threatening remarks to her, and Miss Taylor here was concerned for her friend, and she reached out to her brother, and he reached out to me. They didn't mean to intrude. Their only thought was just that we make sure she gets home safely tonight, but I'm a professional, ma'am, and I have to do more than that. Do you really think he'll follow through on those threats? Tori asked. I mean, he's just a kid whose feelings are hurt, right? The agent frowned. Well, ma'am. He walked up to Mika as we were walking her home, and he tried to grab her and pull her away when she told him that she didn't want to talk to him. And I'm thinking, if he would do that in front of 3 other people, then he will probably follow through on threats to harm her in some way. Do you understand? He either thinks he has free rein to do what he wants with no consequences, or he's out of control and doesn't care about the consequences. She nodded. I never would have thought that Mateo would harm my daughter. Mika's eyes filled. And so, Mrs. Burton, with your permission, I'd like to take some precautions to help keep Mika safe. And how are you going to do that? Well, first, I have some security cameras I'd like to place just outside your door, with your permission, of course. And I have a new lock to put on your door, which would make it very hard for him to try to bash his way inside your home. I'm not saying he would do that, but better safe than sorry. We would also like to arrange a car to take Mika to and from school until we know this is all blown over. And if Mika would consent to wear it, I can get her a necklace that has a camera on it that can be activated with a quick touch. And it also doubles as a GPS tracker so that we can keep watch over her again, just until all this blows over. Tory Burton's eyes opened wide. Wow. So how much will this cost? It won't cost you a thing, young Eric said quickly. It's taken care of. Taylor was concerned for her friend and felt strongly that we need to protect your daughter. And just like that, you take care of it? Well, yes, ma'am. When God places something or someone in our path, we try to act quickly to do whatever he asks of us. Mom, please don't let this worry you, Mika said softly. Well, it's hard not to worry. Mrs. Burton, Taylor began. Really, please don't worry. You see, God must be very aware of you and Mika, or he wouldn't have put it on our hearts to step in. I have a feeling that you and Mika are very special to him, so that means he'll be with you, and he'll be looking after you, and he doesn't want you to worry. Trust him. He's got you. Young Eric smiled at his sister. Mika watched her mother. She seemed very touched by what Taylor said, and Mika felt grateful for the girl. She wasn't shallow like one might expect the daughter of movie stars to be. So, ma'am, Agent Thomas jumped back in. If it's okay with you, I'll set up the security camera and put the new lock on your door, and I'll be out of your way. Oh, you want to do it now? Oh, yes, ma'am. It won't take me but a minute. I have what I need right here in my pack. Oh, well, yeah, sure. Please go ahead. Agent Thomas, do you need my help? Eric asked. Nope. You go ahead, Eric. I know people are waiting on you up at the church. Well, I'm not sure that I want to leave you alone, Eric said quietly. Thomas smiled. I have backup, keeping watch outside. Young Eric nodded with a smile. I should have known that. Okay, then Tay and I will get out of here. Taylor stood and hugged Mika. I'll see you Sunday, Mika. Thanks, Taylor, for worrying about me and making all this happen. Oh, no prob. You're my friend. I care about you. It's all going to be okay. She turned and smiled at Mika's mom. Good night, Mrs. Burton. It was nice to meet you. You too. Good night. Eric shook her hand and Agent Thomas's hand and bid them good night. Outside, as they walked up the drive, he realized an agent was out in the parking lot watching over the premises, and another agent began to tail young Eric and Taylor as they walked back to the church. Okay, Tay, so you want to tell me exactly what all this is about? She nodded and began to fill him in on everything. When she finished, she frowned. You know, I didn't get a chance to tell anyone else about this, so I'm confused as to how Agent Thomas knew so much. I mean, he acted like he knew the situation already. Eric nodded. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Though he didn't know it all because he had to ask you why Mika needed protection. He probably knew some because, remember, I gave Uncle Joey some information earlier on the Anthony guy. Maybe he ran some names and found out something. I'm sure he'll let us know. But anyway, Tay, I'm glad you acted quickly. I have a feeling if we hadn't been around to walk Mika home, she would have been in some serious trouble tonight. Especially since now you tell me this Teo kid is not just some innocent high school kid. Your instincts were right on, sis, and I'm proud of you. And by the way, I'm proud of what you said to Ms. Burton, that God is with her and to trust him. That was well done. She sighed. Well, thanks. I think Mika might be upset with me, though. I'm thinking her mom doesn't know that she's been having relations with Teo, and I'm also thinking that she doesn't want her mom to know. Well, sometimes the whole truth has got to come out before we can make real changes in our lives. You know, like Brooke. Nothing would have changed if Aunt Jeffy... I am sorry. I guess the morning time I'm always kind of clogged up. Nothing would have changed if Aunt Jeffy didn't pick up on what really happened. Taylor nodded. You know, Eric, sometimes the world seems so dark and miserable and scary. And then, when she didn't go on, he looked down at her. And then what? She smiled. And then Gabe appears, and all I see is light. He grinned. His sister was smitten. Well, Gabe is definitely a ray of light, but you know, you can't depend on Gabe for your light. It has to come from Jesus. You need that light so you can be a light for Gabe too. So don't forget to pray and talk to Jesus and build that relationship. She nodded. Oh, I won't forget. I promise. New scene. It is January 9th. The next day, 7 p.m., Thursday evening. We are back at Hopewood Chapel Church of Christ, Huntington Beach, California. Goodness. Ricky and Bree looked around the community room at the people they hoped to help, people whom God had placed in their path. The room was packed full, and though there were 48 units in the apartments next door, only 39 of them had been occupied. That turned out to be a good thing, because after the architect designed the renovations, they wanted to change the 4 apartment buildings from holding 12 units each to holding 10 units. There were currently 68 people in the room, plus Ricky, Bree, and 6 AMTs. That's Ameritech agents. Every tenant was represented by at least one person, though some brought the whole family. And that was probably because it had been announced that dinner boxes from Pete's would be provided. The crowd had finished their meal, and now some were chatting with each other, and some were sitting quietly with pleasant looks on their faces, and some were not looking quite so friendly. Those were probably worried that something bad was coming, like eviction. Taylor had been dropped off after dance class and was sitting next to Mika's mom, Tori Burton. Mika herself was upstairs at choir practice. Taylor had been chatting with Mrs. Burton and having her point out all the people coming in and telling Taylor what she knew about them. Many of them Taylor already knew or knew of. Coming in late and taking a seat in the back was Mrs. Peavy, Mateo's mother, wearing the uniform of a local grocery store. And Mrs. Burton pointed her out to Taylor. She was glad that neither Teo nor T had shown. It was also pointed out to Taylor that the woman sitting next to Ms. Peavy was Ms. Brown, T's mom. Taylor looked her over. She was a larger woman with green hair and a nose ring, and she wore a rainbow-colored sweater. Leonard and Paula Garcia were present. Their son Caleb was sitting with his friend Sean Peavy, who happened to be Teo's little brother. Also sitting with Caleb and Sean were a few other kids, including Amari and Brittany, who the Kenos brought along to see their friends. And all the chairs faced the large, newly installed 86-inch monitor on the wall. The Garcias watched the Kenos. They'd been greeting latecomers, inviting them in, offering them dinner boxes and bottles of water. They were always so gracious. It was amazing to Leonard and Paula that these 2 billionaire movie stars interacted with people in such a warm and friendly way. They seemed like just regular people. Ricky Keno glanced at his watch and nodded at his wife, and they met together off to the side of the room and whispered to each other. They put their heads together as they spoke, and Leonard realized that they were praying. They raised their heads at the same time and smiled into each other's eyes, and Leonard nodded his own head and then glanced down at his wife sitting next to him. She, too, had been watching and then looked up at him. "They are so sweet," she whispered. Leonard smiled. They set a good example. Ricky Keno cupped his wife's face with one hand in a loving gesture, nodded his head, then turned and walked to the front of the crowd. There was silence, which made him smile. "Hello, everyone. I'm Ricky Keno." The group chuckled. He gestured toward Bree. "And I'm sure you know this is my lovely wife, Brianna Adams Keno." They all applauded her, and Ricky nodded in appreciation. "First, I want to thank you all for coming out to this meeting. We have a lot to cover, so I'll get right to it. When Bree and I first drove through your apartment complex last month, I think it was the second week of December, we felt the Holy Spirit move us to do some of God's work there, among His people. We looked into it, and we were able to negotiate a deal, thanks to the expertise of my brother, Mark Adams. So Bree and I would like to announce that we are the new owners of the Village Garden Apartments." He stopped and waited for the murmurs to die down. "So let me just say this right away in case you're worried. No one is going to take away your home. You are secure. However, your homes are going to improve very much because we are going to renovate the entire complex." He waited again. "We've had inspectors look the place over. We know the previous owners wouldn't fix things. We know some of you haven't had a working oven for months. There are water leaks and water damage. There are broken windows, broken doors that should have been repaired long ago, along with just regular wear and tear that should be seen to. New roofs are needed on all 4 buildings. So Bree and I want you to know that all of those things are going to be taken care of, but much, much more. When I say renovation, I'm talking about a major overhaul. Every single unit in every single building will be completely redone. New carpet, new kitchen, new bathrooms, fresh paint and designs, new lighting. Once we're done, you won't recognize the place. Now, I'm going to turn the next few minutes over to my wife. Bree came forward with her beautiful smile in place. She nodded at her daughter, and the large monitor turned on. Hello, everyone. If you'll all direct your eyes up to the screen. There was a large murmuring as I studied what was on the screen. This, Bree began, is a computer-generated mock-up of what the apartments will look like when we finish. They were looking at beautiful sand-colored brick buildings with charcoal gray trim. Each building had 5 gabled porticos that covered 5 front porches, and each porch was divided in half and had 2 doors that led to 2 separate apartments. The porches were surrounded by thick cedar railings and columns to support the gabled roof. Outside those railings was green grass and landscaping, and then sidewalks that led out to the parking lot. It was lovely and homey. There was beautiful exterior lighting on the left of the door on the left and on the right of the door on the right. And the dark gray shutters and roofs added a perfect accent. Bree smiled as they murmured and exclaimed over the beautiful design. You might notice something a little off. If not, let me explain. She pointed to the image on the screen. This is an actual second floor. The 2 small bedrooms on the first floor will be combined to make one larger bedroom and a larger bathroom, and upstairs there will be 2 more bedrooms and 1 bathroom. So each apartment will become a 3-bedroom, or the other bedrooms can be used as an office, playroom, etc. Wow, amazing. You got to be kidding me. Oh, this is lovely. Bree smiled at the comments. Let's take a look inside. She went through pictures of what the interior will look like. The people seemed pleased. Will the rent go up? A man in the back asked. Ricky stood. No. Everyone who is currently living here will pay the same rent for the next 5 years. Anyone new coming in will pay a slightly higher rent so that we can eventually break even. Still, there will be several things that will change for you. One is that some of you will have a different address because we're doing away with 2 units in each building to make room for what we want to do. Your apartment number could change. What else is going to change? An elderly woman asked. Ricky smiled at her. Hello, Miss Etta. Another thing that will change is security. This complex is about to become a gated community. There were some sharp intakes of breath, and he plowed on. One of the very first things we're going to install is a front security gate. Not just anyone can come into your community anymore. They'll have to be buzzed in by you, and the gate will open automatically for your car because you'll have a transponder on the windshield, and if you're walking, you'll have a code to punch in, and there will be facial recognition, but we'll talk more about that later. The gate will be manned by security agents, and they will keep a close eye over all of you, making sure you are all safe and that you can get in and out with no problems. Tori Burton smiled. The agent had told her last night that they would make sure that her daughter is safe. This morning, Tori had already left for work, but Mika texted her to let her know that a car did indeed come to the front of their apartment and pick her up. And now this. These people really do seem to be angels. Ricky went on. There will be security cameras covering the entire complex, and lighting and fence around the total area that leads all the way up to the front gate. There will even be security cameras at each dumpster area, and by the way, the dumpsters will be larger. They will be hidden neatly on a pad behind a cedar privacy fence, and they will be emptied on a regular basis. There will be a maintenance crew that keeps the pads and surrounding area scrubbed clean, and the cameras will alert us to anyone trying to vandalize your property. Taylor, will you put up the mock-ups of the entire complex from an aerial view? She pressed some buttons and the screen switched to a landscaper's view of the property. Ricky moved forward with a pointer. Okay, let's take a look at the property overall. First, all of the parking lot area will be repaved and new lines painted, and as I said earlier, new lighting installed. These are the 4 apartment buildings. There will be some nice landscaping here and here, though it may not look exactly like it does here on this model. He moved the pointer. This is the backyard area between the back door of buildings A and B. And then over here is the backyard area between the back doors of buildings C and D. They will have new sod, new kid-friendly landscaping, and some picnic areas. And each unit has a back patio. And this here and here are small play areas and swings for the little ones, toddlers and babies. They're right here in the backyard areas so that moms don't have to walk a long way to the playground to allow their little ones to get some fresh air and some playtime. "Oh, that is going to be awesome," one of the young mothers exclaimed out loud. Others nodded in agreement. Ricky changed direction. Up here, across the parking lot, along the outer edge, on each side, you'll notice what looks like 4 more apartment buildings, but that's not what they are. These are storage buildings to coincide with each apartment unit. There was a surprised gasp, and Bree smiled and nodded. "Most people don't have enough storage, right? But now you'll have a place to store your Christmas decorations or memory boxes or whatever you need to store, like bikes, sports equipment, furniture, whatever." "And what's that along the parking lot between the storage buildings on each side?" a teen boy asked. Ricky grinned as he looked at the blue-colored rectangle with 2 half circles and a line dividing the rectangle in half. "Let's see, what does it look like?" he asked. The boy shrugged. "Well, it actually looks like basketball courts." Ricky nodded. "You got it." There was a loud murmur this time. "There are 4. 2 here between the 2 storage buildings and 2 way over here all the way across the complex between the other 2 storage buildings. And this right here on one side of each court is a playground with equipment for older kids, all the way up to adult size. And on the other side right here is a small skate park." "Oh, wow," another kid said. "This is awesome cool. So where's the pool?" The crowd chuckled, and Ricky nodded. "Well, we thought about that, actually, and we may still do it down the road. First, we have to see how the tenants will take care of their own property. It's going to be up to you, actually, the older children, like from 8 and up, to make sure that you take care of your home and your surroundings. Most of the parents are busy working jobs or taking care of little ones. You're the ones who will know what's really going on in your neighborhood, in your community. Well, you and security. Let's help everyone to take pride in their surroundings and keep it clean. And if we see that happening, we might be able to feel comfortable with putting in a pool area. Is that fair enough?" They all nodded. "Now," Ricky went on, "speaking of jobs, there are some employment opportunities available in this endeavor. We're going to need 2 maintenance men willing to work hard. We're going to need a new apartment manager, male or female, full-time, and 1 part-time, and we're going to need a lawn maintenance crew. We can hire someone to come in, no problem, but if there are some of you who are searching for employment, we'd like to make it available to you first. There is no degree required. We can train you. So call the number on the packet you've been given and talk to my guy, and he'll get the application process started." "Now," Bree broke in, "here's the big question. How are we going to do all of this?" Ricky nodded. "First, we want you to know that we're going to do it quickly. We intend to be completely done in 4 months. Some things will happen fast. The security gate, fencing, storage buildings. We also want to start on building A in 2 weeks." "So while you're working on our building, where will we go?" Etta asked. Ricky nodded. "Awesome question." He turned to his wife. "Bree?" "Well, first, Miss Etta, someone will help you get all of your furniture and belongings moved into storage, and then you will stay at the Golden Hotel Suites over on North Orange Drive." Another murmur from the crowd, and Bree smiled. "There are kitchenettes in each room. We will help you with whatever you need while you're there, and you may not know what you'll need until you get there, so we have a person assigned to take calls and help you with anything you need. We're giving ourselves only 1 month for the renovation of each building. The other things, the storage buildings, the repaving and painting of the parking lot, the lighting, the play areas, and finally the landscaping will also happen during those times." Ricky stepped in. "And once we finish building A, we'll get you all moved back in, and we'll have the tenants in building B ready to move out of their building immediately We might overlap it a bit. We have to see how things will go. We have a tentative schedule from the contractors. And again, there are employment opportunities for anyone wanting to make a little extra cash on the side, like some men or teen boys with strong backs helping to move people and other things that we might need as they unfold. He looked at Bree and she nodded and smiled at the group. So that's about it. If for some reason you'd rather not be a part of creating this lovely community, we completely understand. Ricky spoke again. You may end your lease with no penalties anytime you wish within the next 6 months. Well, up until June 1st. After that time frame, you'll be under a lease contract. Does anyone have any questions? What will the name of the apartment? Will the name of the apartments change? Tori Burton asked. Bree answered, well, we discussed that, and we came up with a compromise. Because we think Village Garden is actually a pretty name, but instead of Village Garden Apartments, we would like to change it slightly to the Village Garden Apartment Homes. It's just a minor change, but really sometimes a minor tweaking makes all the difference. The name is a small change, but the community itself will change to match its name, a beautiful garden and a lovely place to call home. Ricky smiled at his wife, and Taylor smiled at her mom. Let me go ahead and end the meeting, and if anyone wants to ask questions, Bree and I will stick around and answer for the next 30 minutes. But then we have to get the kids home and in bed, he said, smiling at Amari and Brittany. As they entertained more questions, Taylor made her way upstairs to check in on choir practice, mostly because she wanted to make sure that Mika was escorted home. She arrived upstairs to hear a beautiful sound, and immediately she pulled out her phone and video called Gabe. He answered and smiled into the camera. Hey, Tay. Hi, Gabe. I see you were in bed. I'm sorry. I just called because I thought you might want to hear what I'm hearing. Well, what am I hearing? Because it does sound good. She flipped the phone. It's choir practice. Gabe listened for a few minutes until the song they were working on ended. Logan was talking to them about crescendo and why it's important for them to watch him. Taylor turned the phone back. What do you think? Gabe shook his head. I think I wish I could be part of that choir. They are really good. And with my brother Logan working his magic, it's pretty amazing. Maybe you can join when you get out here. He frowned. Well, maybe. But I think my time is going to be pretty limited. Training, school, studying. Taylor sighed. But I'll find time to see you, babe. I miss you. I miss you too. Just 39 more hours until you arrive. Gabe chuckled. Yep, I'm counting the days and you're counting the hours. Taylor sighed. And you have to report first thing Monday morning, right? Yes, but I have to check into my room before 9 p.m. Sunday evening. She frowned. That doesn't give us much time. I know. We got to tough this out, babe. She nodded. I will. Don't worry about me. Just concentrate on doing all the stuff you have to do. At least you'll be close, only a short distance away, and not like Jake over in Afghanistan. Gabe smiled. That's right. And thank you for that, because it helps me to feel stronger when I don't have to worry that you're sad or worried or missing me. She nodded. Well, it's kind of easy to slip into that because I do miss you. But I had a long talk with my parents and with Uncle Jason, and they told me it doesn't help you at all to not support you in what you're doing. And I told them I absolutely do support you. And then they told me that when I complain about missing you and about you not having time to spend with me, that I'm putting pressure on you and that doesn't help you to succeed. They also said it was a lack of maturity. And they said to support you, I have to be strong too. So don't worry. I am going to be strong. I have so much to do and so much to learn. Cool. Tell me some of the things you have to do. Well, I'm helping Jordan to plan her wedding, and I'm going to go to all of her softball games. Her season starts next month, and my school's baseball season starts in March, and I want to see those games because, you know, someone got me all interested in baseball. Gabe smiled. And I'm working hard at dance for my first recital, which will be in May. And Miss Jewel and Mom have teamed up to give me and Jordan cooking classes and menu planning classes and even kitchen design classes. Oh, wow, Gabe exclaimed. That's great. So that reminds me, my mom asked me to ask you how your mom is doing and when is the baby due? Oh, Mama's doing okay. Mama's doing okay. She's had some bad days where she's dizzy and where the morning sickness lasts all day long. And then she's had some good days where she thinks she's over that part. Because she's older, the doctors are wanting to monitor her closely. But Jeffy says she's fine, and the baby's fine, and she's due at the end of August. Well, both you and your mom's birthdays are at the end of August, too, Gabe said. Right. So August is going to be a great month. And by the way, Gabe, tell your mom that she's welcome to call my mom anytime. I did tell her that already, but she says she doesn't want to bother her. Well, that's silly. My mom considers your mom as part of our family, and she's probably wondering why she hasn't bothered to call her. Remember, my mother's daughter is going to have the same last name as your mom one day. We actually really are family. Gabe smiled. Yeah, we are. So, excuse me, young lady in the back of the chapel? Taylor looked up from her phone call. Oh, sorry, Logan. Was I talking too loud? Logan smiled and nodded. Well, Gabe's voice is carrying. Taylor turned the phone around. Hey, bro, Gabe said loudly. Sorry, didn't mean to disturb you. You guys sound awesome. Thanks, Gabe. Everyone here is looking forward to meeting you, so we hope you can come out one Sunday. I'm going to have Sundays off, so yes, sir, I'll be there. But just to hold me over, can y'all do a song for me? And then I promise that Taylor and I will hang up and won't bother your practice anymore. I think we can do just that for you, little bro. He nodded at the group. Let's do Chris Tomlin's song, Holy Forever. He turned to the piano, nodded at guitar man Sal and the drummer Zeke, and started in. Gabe watched and listened intently. His heart swelled almost immediately as the Holy Spirit filled him, as it so often did. Logan's gorgeous voice began the song, but the choir came in quickly. And Mika had a solo at the start of the second verse, and Taylor smiled as Mrs. Burton came into the chapel and stood in the back. Mika was doing great, and Taylor could tell that the words meant a lot to Mika. If you've been forgiven, and if you've been redeemed, sing a song forever to the Lamb. Please, Jesus, Taylor thought, please protect her from Teo and T. New scene. It is January 9th. Still, 8:45 p.m. Thursday evening. The Village Garden Apartment Homes, Huntington Beach, California. Tori Burton linked her arm with her daughter, Tamika Burton, as they walked slowly together down the drive from the street to their apartment. Tori smiled. This was nice, walking with her daughter. It was like their lives were changing so quickly for the better. She was so proud of Mika. She'd gone upstairs to hear the end of choir practice, and her daughter had a solo, and she was amazing. And then that marvelous young man, Logan Adams, who Mika thought hung the moon, prayed over the choir and dismissed them. And Miss Taylor Keno was adamant that either Logan or her own father walked Tori and her daughter home. But Tori let them know that Mateo had never been anything but respectful to her, and he would never cause trouble with Mika while she was with her. Then Agent Thomas had shown up and apologized for being late and told Mika he had a gift for her. She opened a small white box to find a necklace with a single round gold charm. Engraved on the charm was a cross, and in the middle of the cross was a blue stone, and they were told that the stone was actually a tiny camera. It wasn't always activated, but if she pressed the small prong on the back of the pendant, the camera would turn on. He had her put it on and turn it on before they headed down the drive back to their home, and told them he'd be monitoring as they walked, just to test it out. When they were halfway down the drive, Mika peeked over to the graffiti-covered wall that Teo liked to sit on, but it was empty, and she breathed a sigh of relief. Do you have any homework? Tori asked her daughter. A little bit. I promised to get it done fast. So, Mom, what do you think about this renovation thing? Tori smiled. Well, it sounds like it's going to be really nice. I hope the other tenants will keep things up. Mika nodded. Me too. What do you think about the security gate and all the cameras? Well, I like feeling like someone I trust is watching over things. If it was another company, I wouldn't trust it. But the Kenos endorse Ameritech, and I trust the Kenos. Well, what do you think about it? Mika smiled because her mother usually never asked what she thought. I think it's cool. Taylor said her uncle will actually own Ameritech one day, and he already helps run it, so like it's kind of a Kino family company, you know? Tori smiled. I think things are really turning around for us, baby. Mom, I was thinking, it's just you and me, and I'm almost grown now. You've been working 2 jobs as long as I can remember. Yeah, so? So Taylor told me that there was going to be some job openings available. Did they talk about that at your meeting? Yes, they did. Well, I was thinking, Mom, why don't you apply to be the new manager? Or maybe at least the part-time manager? Tori's eyes opened wide with surprise. Oh, I don't think I'm qualified. I've never had anything to do with apartment management. The only thing I've managed is the breakfast crew at McDonald's. Yeah, but you've been working all kinds of jobs since I was born. Think of all the experience you have. You work hard and you handle customers at the convenience store. You manage the breakfast shifts at McDonald's. You worked at that daycare center when I was little. You were a sales clerk at the shoe store in the mall. You were the crew manager for the hotel housekeeping crew over at Golden Downtown. You worked at the school in the lunchroom. You've done so much. I don't know how to manage apartments. But you could learn. Mr. Kino said that they would train you. I mean, if you're not sure about it, you could just go for the part-time job and maybe move up later. Come on, Mom. It would be nice to have you nearby for a change. You've been working so hard all your life. I mean, since I was born, anyway. You had me when you were 16. You're only 32 now. Mom, you're young. But you won't stay young long if you keep working yourself to death. Tori laughed. Wow, Mika, I didn't know you were thinking like this. Usually you won't even talk to me in full sentences. Mika frowned. I know, Mom. But something's changed in me. I know it sounds crazy, but I feel different inside. This Christmas with you, my mom, it was pretty special for some reason. And like Mr. Logan in practice today, he was talking about his own mom. And that before she met Mr. Adams, life was real hard. And he tried so hard to take care of her. He said, loving your mother and honoring your mother, it will make you happy. And I thought, I don't ever tell you how much I love you. Tori stopped walking, her eyes opening wide. And Mika looked at her. Mom, don't cry. She reached out and hugged her. When they pulled away, she sighed. Mr. Logan was right. Honoring you, it does make me happy. Mom, I think Jesus is talking to me in my heart. And I think things for us are going to change big time. Tori smiled and brushed some hair back from her beautiful daughter's face. I am so proud of you, baby girl. They continued on and turned the corner to Building B and stopped short. Teo was in the parking lot, parked next to Tori's car in front of their door, and he was leaning on the fender of his car. When he saw them, he stood up straight. Where you been, Meeks? I didn't see you on the bus today. He glanced at Tori. Oh, hey, Ms. Burton. Hello, Mateo. So, can Mika come for a ride with me? Mika's heart beat fast, and Tori smiled smoothly. Well, Mateo, Mika told me that you and her broke up. He smiled a charming smile. Yeah, but I just want to work things out. Oh, I'm sorry, Teo. She doesn't want to go for a ride with you, and even if she did, I wouldn't allow it. It's late, and she has homework. You gotta be kidding me. Tori's eyes narrowed. No, I'm not kidding. Now, she says you two are no longer boyfriend and girlfriend, and I'll have to stand by her on that. He reached out and grabbed Mika's wrist. Well, we won't be long. I just want to have one small private conversation. Let go of me, Mika ordered. Tori moved forward and grabbed his forearm and tried to make him let go of her daughter. Let go, Teo. I mean it. I cannot believe you're behaving this way. He pulled Tori's arm from his and shoved her, and she stumbled and fell backward onto the sidewalk. And Mika yelled and swung her free hand at Mateo's face, but he ducked, and then a strong hand pulled Mateo's hand from Mika's wrist. Agent Thomas nodded at Mika. Help your mom up and go inside and lock the door. Teo pulled back and tried to swing at Thomas. He caught his fist and turned him around and twisted his arm behind his back and held him fast. You're breaking my arm, Teo screamed. Oh, stop being a baby. You're okay. Mateo jumped and struggled and tried to get away, so Agent Thomas threw him down and cuffed him. So you are a cop, he laughed. You better check with your SO, man. They won't arrest me. Oh, yeah, kid? I think you're wrong. Which one you talking about? Sergeant Millsap. You might better give him a call now. He gonna be pretty mad you messed with me, 'cause I work for T-Bone. Oh, for T-Bone. Man, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. Yeah, you're gonna be sorry. Well, maybe I should go over Millsap's head to the lieutenant. Teo laughed again. That's funny. How new are you, man? And if you try to go over Aranda's head to the captain, Lieutenant Aranda will have somebody take you out in a second. Oh, you're trying to tell me that Lieutenant Aranda would have me killed? I don't believe you. Well, you should, 'cause he's done it before. Sure, kid. You wait and see. Tell me just one person he killed, and I might let you go. You stupid man. How about Officer Durant? You thought he really got shot in a drive-by? He was targeted, man. And you arrest me, you're going to go down too. Now be a good little boy and unlock these cuffs. How do you know that? Did you shoot him? No, man, but I know, 'cause, well, someone had to drive. Thomas rolled his eyes. What else you want to tell me? Teo drew in a breath. He suddenly realized what he was doing, spilling his guts. But it wouldn't matter, 'cause this guy's going to be dead soon. I ain't telling you nothing else, except you're a dead man. You get all that, Chief Davis? I got it all. Detain the young man until Jason reaches the captain and the Huntington chief of police, and we'll let them decide what to do with him. Yes, sir, Agent Thomas said. And I have backup coming your way in 5. Roger that. What did he say? Teo demanded. None of your business, little man. Who, Chief Davis? He's my boss. I never heard of him. You'll know all about him soon. Now sit here and shut up. Some nice Huntington police officers will be here soon to pick you up. You are so stupid, man. You're going down so hard. Agent Thomas sighed. He was trying to think of how Ameritech is going to go about taking down dirty cops, taking down T-Bone, and saving this stupid kid's life. That is the end of Chapter 2.